How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan battle video for you here today. We have the Definitive Unit showcase for the Teq, Kale, and Cauliflower EZA. Yes, it is finally here on Global. And in this video, we are going to go over the following things. We are going to do a quick unit overview, look at the unit, take a look at what they're doing. We're going to talk about their best teams to utilize them on, their best link partners, a brief overview of their recommended hidden potential skill. We'll have a full breakdown later on, and then a showcase, right? This is our definitive unit guides. We've been doing these for a while now, and you guys seem to really enjoy them. So let's go ahead and let's start. Let's hop on in here with the unit overview. We have these guys max links. We have them rainbow status, and let's take a look at what they are doing for the unit overview. In their base form, they have attack and defense 200%. They launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. And they have a high chance of evading enemy's attack. That's a 50% chance. For 4 turns from their entry turn, they have an additional chance of evading enemy's attack 20%. So that's 70%. For every attack performed, they get attack and defense 40% up to 160. And when there's another Universal Survival Saga category ally attacking in the same turn, they get attack 60% when attacking and launches a guaranteed additional super attack. For every 3 attacks performed in battle, they have chance of evading enemy's attack 20% up within the character's next attacking turn, up to 20%. So it can only proc the once. So as long as they do at least 3 attacks, they will get up to 20% additional dodge on the next turn. So for 4 turns, that actually makes them have a possibility of 90%. After that, dropping down to 70%. Dropping back down to 70%. So all in all, pretty darn good if you ask me. They can fuse into Kefla starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle, and of course once fused into Kefla, right, they become significantly more offensive. Kefla will recover HP 60%, gain an additional attack defense 200%. She has 2 guaranteed additional super attacks. She has a 70% chance of evading, and she changes key spheres to Teq. She gets 200% attack when attacking, 200% defense when receiving an attack, and as long as you get 6 or more key spheres, she gives all tournament participants allies 30% attack and 30% defense for those who are on Universe 6, right? So if you're on Universe 6, then you are getting both attack and defense 30%. So that's actually pretty good combined with other support that she's giving. So all in all, a pretty decent unit here. So up next, we are going to talk about her best teams. What are the best teams to use her on, and what stages are the best places to use those on? So let's take a look here. I got a few teams set up for her here. These are just a few recommended, not the ideal builds every single time, just some recommended builds that you could try out to make the most fun and the most use of her. First up, we have the Universe 6 team up here, led by the Fizz, Kale, and Cauliflower, right? It's your pretty standard Universe 6 team, right? As long as you're taking on these new red zones, this is honestly a really good team. Or any stage that has Pure Sands or Universal Survival Saga for that matter, right? You have the Hit, who isn't really linking with anybody, but he kind of doesn't really need to. You have the new Teq, Kale, and Cauliflower, who can link with not only the Fizz one, but also they can link with STR Kefla once transformed. And then, of course, you have these two here, the Teq and the STR Kale and Cauliflower. Both of these actually do really well on the new Universe 6 team, just simply because of the way the fights are structured, right? Teq Cauliflower is always going to be dodging until the final phase, and at that point you have plenty of means to at least help her tank the normals or get her out of harm's way with like hits active skill, right? And then STR Kale, actually, the way her garden damage reduction builds up, she's actually more than capable. And how quickly she stacks defense for as little damage as she's doing, she actually becomes a very, very good 3rd slot floater, basically able to tank whatever's thrown at her after a couple of turns. So honestly, this new Universe 6 team is pretty good. The other option is a more sort of accelerated battle Universal Survival Saga setup led by the Int Hit. right? This is actually a pretty solid, consistent team here, right? You would have one rotation of Hit and God Goku, and the other rotation, the two Kale and Cauliflas, with a floating UI and a floating blue Kaioken. The blue Kaioken there just for moral support. No, actually attack and defense support. You could swap him in for any other attack and defense supporter, and it would work just fine. This team here would be another decent team, right? If you were looking to juice her up with Gogeta under the Vegito team, this is not a bad team setup for her. You would have your Namek Goku and one of the Vegitos on one rotation, and then Teq Kefla and STR Kefla on the other rotation with floating UI and floating Gogeta. Or battle-hardened formidable foes. Not their best stage, since their transformation is turn 6. You will almost never see the transformation unless you really stall it out, but it can be done, right? So if you were looking to build a battle-hardened formidable foe stage with them, right, your team might look like something with this, with some protective mechanics that would help keep them out of harm's way. Where they're really going to shine is in the Festival of Battles, but of course that does mean running the only lead and the only team that can really take it down, which is the Vegito lead, right? So she's probably not going to have many of her link partners in this. You could try maybe with the AGL Kale and Caulifla. If you were going to do that, I would definitely swap out the gods here on this team in that case. But, alright, it's the same setup as before. You have your rotation of your 4s and your Vegito, and you just stack. Well, your second rotation does the same, right? This other rotation with the Kale and Caulifla, you could probably run the AGL one and maybe get away with it. They'd be doing significantly less damage, but they would provide excellent links. Otherwise, you could still get them to work just as effectively here, as they do share 3 to 4 links with the Gogetas and the Vegitos. So it still works out. So that brings us to the next step. Now that we've talked about the teams, let's kind of talk about the stages that they can be used on. And in order to do that, of course, we do want to transition over and take a look here onto the Dokkan info page here, right? So let's go ahead, let's switch on over here. So if you're running these guys, first and foremost, they are a stacking unit. They greatly stack attack and defense on their super attack effects, as we do know, and so that means probably their primary place to be used is going to be in the Festival of Battles, right? Since they are stacking, they can be they're going to have their greatest advantage here in this 70 phase fight. If not, you'll be wanting to look at the red zones. They're going to perform very well here, especially in the later stages of like Blue Goku or the Universal Survival Saga stages, right, where they're kind of long and they give them time to stack. Otherwise, right, you have the Goku side, same thing, right? The blue Goku, the blue Vegeta or the Universal Survival Saga stages are going to work best for them to allow them to stack up before you want to transform, right? Because once she's transformed, she's going to stop stacking. I believe she only stacks for 4 turns once she transforms, and so that that does. Oh no, it doesn't even for 4 turns, just 1 turn. Yeah, so once she's transformed, you want to make sure you take advantage in base form before you transform as much as you can, and like these later stages definitely allow that to happen. Battle hardened formidable foes is going to be a lot harder for her. She's probably going to do best in stage 8, where there's a lot of Universal Survival Saga enemies. However, they could work in the 9 and 10, but that requires a lot of setup with a lot of ushers. I would honestly run them. If you're going to run that, I would run a double Gogeta lead, just for the fact that it would give you access to 2 ghost ushers, right? Because they have a chance to dodge the AoE here from Cell Max, but it's only the 70%, so I mean, you could try to get away with it, but I would still probably plan on having an extra Gogeta around just in case, because if she misses that dodge, it could potentially be dangerous. So, since we're here, right, our next topic is, of course, the link partners. And whenever we talk link partners, we do always like to talk about the Dokkan FYI. Such a useful tool, such a useful website. It allows you to see the link partners for any character here. So if we want to look at Teq Kefla, or if we want to look at them in the Kale and Caulifla form, all we simply need to do is scroll down. We can pick whatever category it is that we want. We'll kind of just show the general here, and we just check out their links. So the base form shows 6 links with the Kale, the Caulifla, and the AGL Kale. 5 links with the new Kale and Caulifla, right? 5 links with the AGL. 4 links with pretty much every normal Saiyan in existence. 3 links with the top LRs in the game, right? So she's still going to function very well. Once transformed into Kefla, of course, she gets her 7-link partner with the SCR Kefla, who, provided you trust her dodge, is still pretty good offensively. So, it's not a bad deal here. They'll still have 5 links with the Fizz, Kale, and Caulifla, and the AGL, which means that's useful. And then, of course, right, they've got 4 links with Vegito and Gogeta, so they're going to be rocking out there pretty good too. So she's got a pretty decent link set, right? Looking at Super Saiyan, Battlefield Diva, Fused Fighters, Power Bestowed by Gods, Universe 6 Warriors, Tournament of Power, Fierce Battle, right? So on most standard Saiyan teams, you're going to be getting Super Saiyan, you're going to be getting Fused Fighter, and if you're on Vegito's team, you're going to be getting Power Bestowed by Gods. If you're on a more Universe 6, you're obviously going to have these active, right, which is giving you 6% attack defense and 7% attack and defense. You're always going to have Fierce Battle, of course, for that additional 20%. So, honestly, it's a pretty good deal for them. Just by nature of being a Saiyan, they've got a lot of good links. And so that brings us to our recommended hidden potential, right? So how would we recommend that we build this unit here? Well, honestly, there's no wrong way to build them. They're kind of doing it all. But if I had to recommend one thing, I would definitely prioritize the critical hit. I know that sounds kind of crazy, and I will have a full breakdown of that, but basically in neither form do they have any critical hit. So despite the stacking, if they're not dealing damage through a critical hit, that stacking is meaningless. So I would recommend, since they have plenty of built-in additionals, to lean heavy into the crit for them to take the most out of the damage they will be doing once transform. So with that does bring us to the final piece of this showcase, and that is the actual showcase itself. So we're going to go ahead, we are going to hop in here to the showcase event. So let's go ahead and let's do this. Okay. Alright, so we're going to run the STR Jiren Universal Survival Saga stage here for this, just because we do need a longer stage here in order to utilize them the most effectively. And of course, we got them on turn 2 here, where they don't have their partner, the Fizz, Kale, and Caulifla. So we are going to rotate them off here to... Oh, they're on turn 7. Of course they're turn 7. Why wouldn't they be? Okay, well, let's grab this here. Let's send, I guess, yeah, let's get him, we want to get him over as quick as possible, and let's do that. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm so, you gotta love showcase units deciding, hey, turn 7 is where it's at. That's where we want to be. We want to make this showcase as crappy as possible. Excellent. Okay. So we are dragging Tech UI into this. I'm not happy about it, but we got him. We're going to see if we can get the domain up for the final phase, because I'm not sure how much damage we're going to be able to do here. So, if we can at least get him to the final phase and pop that domain for a turn of Gogeta's active, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so he is getting some decent supers here. Should be enough for him to tank the normals. He's going to explode if he gets hit with the super, though, so let's kind of hope that that doesn't happen. Of course, he didn't dodge. Tech UI doesn't dodge. It's a myth with this guy. At least it was early enough where it didn't matter. Okay, here goes the super, and we dodge it with Super Saiyan. How is Super Saiyan 3 Goku dodging better? What is wrong here? Okay, let's pop Gogeta here, so let's see. Who's got the higher defense? Okay, this one's got the higher defense, huh? Yeah, okay, so let's do that. Alrighty. So, he shouldn't super slot 3, so we should be okay here. Yep. Or, I'm sorry, he shouldn't super slot 1 since he did super slot 3, so we should be okay here. Excellent. We get an additional super since we did get more than the 18 key. Alrighty. So Vegeta is going to get a bunch of extra supers, and probably so is Goku. I mean, honestly, at this point, it might be better that these two just kill, but I don't know that we can do that. Really, such a shame that they started slot 7. It's... Why? Why did my showcase units always start slot 7? Alrighty. Another one? Yep. Okay. Alright, and now Tech Goku gonna do his thing. So if he crits, he's more than likely gonna finish off Bota Magetta here. Which, I mean, it means we lose a whole phase of stacking with Kefla. Yeah. Dang. So we lost a whole phase of stacking with them just because they decided to start slot 7. But, I mean, we can make this work. So, let's see here. We're going to put her slot 3. Alright, so let's take a look here. So, starting defense, 270k. But again, we have that 90% damage reduction. So, what I want to see is how quickly they build. That's what I'm interested in seeing here. How quickly do they build? We got 5 links active with the Kale and Caulifla. Now we're not going to do a crazy Kefla rotation just because it's a little too inconsistent, but you know, we might try some in the Grand Tour having her and Kefla together. But for this we'll just use 5 links. 5 links is more than enough for most units. Alright, so let's see here. Yeah, starting slot 7 is definitely not good. There we go. We get an additional super, 10 million. All right, we should get another one. There we go. All right, I do like that their additional supers are more consistent now. That is nice. So that's 3 additional supers. Okay, nice. And there's that 70. And there's that. We should have we did 3 attacks, right? So we got 70%, and next turn we'll have 90% dodge. And Tech UI just needs to not explode here. That's all I'm asking for. I don't think that that's a big ask. But then again, it is Tech UI, so... Dude. 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 Alright, let's actually do that. Alright, because I don't want to switch over, there we go. Yeah, I don't want to switch over, Vegeta just yet. Bro, you missing dodges too, what is going on? Alright, excellent. We get an additional super. Oh, you know why? I forgot to switch him back into Goku. Oh, well. Okay. Well, we'll have to make sure we switch him next turn. Alright, well, it worked out. That extra damage probably will come in handy, so you know what? I guess we can't complain. Alright, here comes the AoE. Alright. Okay, we're good. Alright, so we're going to have to pop Kale and Caulifla since they have the 90% chance to dodge. We're going to have to pop them into slot 1 on this next rotation here. Alright, so I am curious to see how they got built up here. 1.7 mil by the second turn. That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. Okay, I shouldn't say pretty good. That's actually really good. Offense leaves a little bit to be desired, but, I mean, that's fine. But maybe we'll see what happens when they... Remember, we're not fully built up with them offensively yet, right? They got to get 160. There we go. Okay. Not a fan of missing the supers, but we'll take it. Come on. Alright, we're missing too many supers. I don't like that. Alrighty. Okay, so UI is where we want him, but at the same time, we kind of got to be careful here. We don't want him to die. Really don't want him to die. Okay. There we go. So at least we know UI will be safe on this turn, because we're getting rid of the super here. Excellent. Yeah, them starting slot 7 was really, really bad for us. Right? It means they're losing more attack than they're gaining. Because we're not getting bosses starting with full HP. We're getting the second half of them. Okay. So we may have to avoid some super attacks here on this rotation. Okay, there goes the super from Catoplegia. Alrighty. Alright, let's swap him now. I don't want to switch him just yet. We'll switch him next round. Alright, and then we'll send off Tech UI. There we go. Okay, we're getting some actual dodges in here now. That's good. Excellent. Okay. Alright, so we got that defense raise, which is what we really needed with him. We did bring an item to negate... I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did. Bring the item to negate the locking if we need to for the next phase. Because, you know, obviously Jiren can be a bit frustrating with his locks. So we do want to make sure that we account for that. There we go. Alright, you know what? Tech UI doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so maybe we're okay here. Excellent. Alright, at least he's dodging. That's what matters. Okay, so we can transform them. We're not gonna, though. What we're actually gonna do here... I'm not even actually gonna pop... What are we at? Ooh, wow, they stack defense fast, so I'm actually gonna put them in front here. And I'm gonna grab that. If by some miracle we don't kill here, we'll have Goku to finish up here. Wow. They stack fast. Like, I'm pretty sure we just straight up tanked this super. if we don't dodge. Well, we do dodge, but holy crap, they stack fast. I mean, it's raw defense. They don't have any damage reduction, but wow, they stack defense fast. Wow. Yeah, so I didn't use Cauliflo's active skill, so we can get some extra here. What? They stack fast. Okay, here we go. Alright, we get an additional super. Yeah. We are going to use Cauliflo's active skill and not Kale's, because Cauliflo's active skill will give Universe 6 allies that buff. So we kind of want that on our Gogeta turn. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to float off Gogeta. Yeah, see what he's doing right there. Locking Super Saiyan 4. That's what we didn't want, so... And I didn't bring the item. Okay, never mind. Alright, I guess we're just going to screw everything up here. Which means... Darn it. Ay, ay, ay. I do loathe the... I really do hate locking. Are we actually not gonna get... We are actually not gonna get... Yeah, let's find out where the super is here. It's on you. Okay. Okay. So we're probably not going to get the setup I want, which was with the Gogeta active. So, you know, is what it is. Yeah, with him locking Super Saiyan 4 Goku, that kind of screws up the whole plan here. So let's just do this number. Maybe, I mean, as long as... This rotation will probably kill Topo. Topo doesn't have that much HP. So as long as Super Saiyan 4 Goku gets to it, so that's why I didn't put Vegito in front, right? So he doesn't get those supers early for the build. I probably should have used AGL Goku. Is what it is. Okay, so next we'll just have to kind of roll with it. Next turn, getting the Goku. At least we'll use UI's domain. So we'll have that buff going, and what we'll do is we'll pop UI in front. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll pop UI in front and then go from there. Okay, we actually... well, maybe we don't kill here. Let's see. I think we're going to get pretty close, actually. And here goes the super. Alright, and we do tank it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay, that's a significant chunk. Oh, really? It was one attack? Okay, so maybe we don't kill here. Maybe we should have put him in front. Oh, well, there's a bunch of attacks at the end, actually. Let's see. Okay, at this point, we kind of have to kill. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Making me a little nervous, Vegito. One more? Is it enough? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So that worked out, yeah. Screw you, Topo. And you're locking. Alright, and there goes. Look, the super's right there in front. So let's go ahead and let's pop UI's domain here. Does his super seal? I feel like it does. His super seals, because, I mean, we could totally pop Kale in front, and she would tank. But I can't remember if he seals or not. He does. Okay, so there goes that plan. All right, we're gonna pop. So just taking a look with UI's domain up, this is what they're at right now, over 4 mil. So they're not gonna tank if they don't dodge, but we're gonna go ahead and bring in Kefla now. All right, since this really. Okay, so significant drop in defense. Wow. But I suppose the exchange is offense, right? Because now she is stacking offense indefinitely. Okay, so let's do that number. Alright, let's use Caulifla's active here so we get that boost. Oh, that didn't do nothing. Alright, but at least we get the boost here. And then swap her over to Kale. Right, so we do have everything except Power Bestowed by God active, which actually, you know, if this was a rotate, we would actually have all links active if we had Vegito on this rotation, actually. That's the funny thing. Okay, so we'll grab this. So that will give her the 6 or more key spheres, right? Okay, so am I reading that right? That is 1.7 million defense. Yeah, 1.7 mil, which is still a lot. But yeah, it does look like she takes a significant reduction in the defense stat. Not you. When she transforms, right? So 2 additional super attacks. So again, the trade-off, we're trading off here offense for defense when you transform her. So I guess I could, you know, I kind of wish that buff carried over, that multiplicative buff that they get while they're in. Yeah, I kind of wish that multiplicative buff carried over for the defense, but let's see how it carries over for the offense. Right, because so she does have Super Saiyan 4 Goku's offensive buff from the previous turn, and she's about to get Teq UI's offensive buff, even though Teq UI ain't doing nothing right now. 0 freaking damage. Alright. Can we at least do some damage on the super? Like, any damage? Like, not 0 damage? There we go. That's better. 5 mil. I'll take it. Alright, so yeah. Unfortunately, we don't get the Teq Gogeta turn. That's fine. We'll save that for our motorcycle run. We'll save that for the motorcycle run. But this is... okay. I mean, it should be a pretty decent turn for her. There we go. Okay, so now these counters ought to do some damage. There we go. Much better. Now, if we get some crit, it'll be even better. There we go. $37 mil, not bad for the first turn. I mean, obviously she would continue to stack offense from here. 38 mil, not bad. So yeah, we could definitely get her much higher if you transform her sooner rather than later. But still, I mean, look at that. We got up to 40 mil there. That's actually still pretty good. And yeah, of course we missed the last one. And of course, if we had Gogeta's active this turn, that would have been over that would have been over 60 mil. So that actually would have been really good, honestly. Not quite our motorcycle turn. I think we're gonna have to try a different team, but that's not really what this run was, right? The motorcycle run. We'll do that one later. But I mean, for a definitive showcase, this kind of just shows you how she does in the Jiren Red Zone, the STR one. I feel like this is the stage I'm going to use for most of the definitive showcases. I do like it for that, even if we have to bring an item here. There we go. Okay, and then now, you know what? Let's just pop this off. We saw what we needed to see here. Let's pop the other... Yeah. I doubt we're making it a third turn, so it's probably best we just do this number. And then we do this number. Alright, he is going to seal, which means we're not getting the supers. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Alright. So let's go ahead and let's wrap this turn up with our Vegetos. Let's get this done. I mean, we saw what we needed to see with Kefla, right? And so she's just going to keep stacking attack from there. I mean, there's no sense in dragging it out because, I mean, we drag it out to the next turn, right? We run the risk of Tech UI not dodging the super attack. And with the defense that she had, 1.7 mil, right? That's not living Jiren's super. Because Jiren's super here is over, it's 4 point something, right? Oh, it's 5.74, yeah. So that's not living that super, that defense that she has. However, she does have a 70% chance to dodge. I do not recommend you try to rely on that, but it's there if you get in one of those unclutch moments. But yeah, she's not going to be tanking any supers once transformed, right? Not until you're like 80 turns deep into Festival of Battles and you've stacked her up over 10 million defense and then transform her. But even then, I don't know that I would recommend doing that. I would have to see how the defense transfers over. But like looking at how it transfers over right here, I don't know that I necessarily... Festival of Battles is going to be a weird one for her. Trying to figure out the best place for her to transform, because you are going to need that offense at the end, but her turn 1 offense is obviously not going to be the greatest, because she's going to need to restack up that multiplicative buff that she loses once transformed. But, I mean, we'll see. I don't think it'll be that bad, honestly. Yeah. So, there you have it, folks. There is the Teq Kefla Definitive Showcase. In this video, we went over everything you need to know about the unit. We went over a unit overview, right? Everything you need to know about them. We went over their best teams, their link partners, the ideal stages to run them in, a short recommended hidden potential, and of course, we checked out the showcase here against the Jiren Red Zone. I like doing these definitive showcases. I feel like it gives a really down and dirty of the actual unit performance. But, you know, let us know what you think in the comments down below. So, guys, that is it for the video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, as I said, let us know what you think of these definitive showcases. This is something we started a while ago, long before anybody else was doing them. And, you know, it was my sort of way to really get down and dirty with the unit. And I'm hoping you guys do enjoy them. Many of you guys have mentioned that they are useful, but you know, I'm curious to hear from more of you. Let us know in the comments down below, and of course let us know what you think of the Teq Kefla Kefla's EZA. I'm impressed. They stack very, very fast. Not a fan of the huge drop from the multiplicative buff in KO or in Kefla. But I think it can be forgiven deeper into the fight. We'll have to see. But anyways, guys, that's it for the video. If nothing else, thanks for watching, and aloha.